Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I am here. I don't have a guest today, so I put up a poll on what should I talk about. The choices were question and answers, a deep dive into my characters. Um, I forget something else. Pitch Black, and then an open invite stream. And people seem to want to have open. They wanted to have a deep dive into my characters, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to pontificate for a little bit before people, until people show up. And I will talk about, I have my crowdfunding campaign is live on Kickstarter for for 4 more days. Here it is. And this is, everything. This is just a mirror of the Fund My Comic campaign. So there should be, I'm sorry for making everybody dizzy, but this card has been unlocked. The 5,000 card has been unlocked. It is the Subterranean. So you will get the card that has this guy on it. Where is he? Where's the Subterranean? Oh, he is on the cover. So the card with this guy on it. It is unlocked. That means anybody who backs it will get the Subterranean card. Speaking of cards, I made 7 cards. I'm going to make 7 cards for every campaign. And they came. I got them. But on the fronts look great. On the back of every card, every word is misspelled. So I'm like, how could this happen? And it turns out it's a formatting error. So the woman who I was talking to says, did you use PDFs? Yeah, that happens with PDFs. And I'm just like, I didn't know that. And the first time I used them, she said there was a formatting error. I remember, and then she charged me like $50 to reformat all of them. And I was happy to do it because I just wanted the cards to be done. So, it cost me $50. I got 250 of each card and 7 cards. So I had a whole bunch. I still got a bunch. And they look great. I was really happy. This time, I just uploaded it to her system. She didn't send me anything. She didn't send me any proofs. And she just said, oh, they're in the mail. And I got them like 4 days later, but they were wrong. So I knew something was too easy. So she didn't send me to verify the proofs. So this time she, to her credit, she fixed the formatting error and she is resending them. So they're getting printed. They're, at the bottom of the queue right now. So next week I'll get them again. No harm, no foul. As long as they're here before the comic book, that is fine. So now I have a bunch of cards with literally every word misspelled on the back. Somebody gave me a good idea. If anybody could point me in the direction of getting stickers with a QR code. So maybe I'll just get that and then just slap them on the back and, and hand them out. Put them like next time I do a convention, just put them on the table. QR codes, things like that. So that's the card. So just waiting for people to show up. So we got, I think this is Vinzenja. Man, why does the it show the wrong? Why does it just show the wrong? It just drives me nuts. It just drives me nuts. And apparently I'm not the only one. That it does that too. But anyway, how you doing? How you doing? Marcus, how's it going, Marcus? Does anybody know how to change that? Does anybody know how to change that? So there we go. So we only got 5 people watching. I don't know if this is going to be the biggest show I've ever done. But and then I got to scoot out at like 5 to 8 because at 8 o'clock I'm going to be in Yang Yao's channel. And we're going to talk there. So Marcus just got home. How was work today? Today was perfect work day for me. Why? Because it was cool out. It was absolutely cool out. I broke out my heavy blanket, and I love. I have a 50-pound weighted blanket that I sleep with. I absolutely love it, but it's been too hot. It's been too hot. We have no AC in the bedroom. It's an old house. I'm saving up to do like central air in the house. I'll run the power and I'll have the guys do the central air in the house. That's what I want to do. Until then, I suffer in silence. Just a couple of fans. So let's do a deep dive into my characters. So my number one character, everybody knows, is the Patriarch. I can't really go too deep into this character without spoiling Patriarch number one. This Patriarch number one is going to have his origin. So if you have questions about the Patriarch, and if I can answer without spoiling them, shoot, go ahead. It'll be fun. But so first I'll start with his secret identity is Jimmy Kelly. He was an EMT, and I can tell you this. He was an EMT. Captain Atlas was fighting World Breaker in Science City in the year 2000. And World Breaker was the first time Captain Atlas ever fought anybody on par with him. And Captain Atlas, like Superman, never really learned to fight with skill and grace. When you could lift tanks and skyscrapers and Godzillas, do you really need to learn jujitsu and everything like that? There's literally nobody on the planet equal to him in strength. Captain Atlas still is the most physically strongest being that ever walked the earth. So he never learned how to fight. Now he's fighting an alien that's just as strong, if not stronger than him. And Captain Atlas is having a rough day. Captain Atlas wins. I'm not explaining how. At the cost of, Captain Atlas is bleeding, bad. He's unconscious. James Kelly, the Patriarch, jumps down into this crater, that's glass crater out in the desert, and administers the shocks. Captain Atlas takes a breath, covers Jim Kelly with his blood. Ta-da! He is now gifted with the powers of the Patriarch. It cannot happen again because till this day, they've tried to make Captain Atlas bleed. That was the one and only time Captain Atlas bled. And it gave birth to the Patriarch. There you go. It's comic spoiled. So Jim Kelly was a hero before he became a superhero. He was an EMT, he was a first responder. And that's all I'm going to talk about his origin. Sip of delicious coffee. So what are his powers? He's got telekinesis, he's got flight, and he's got the ability to send his senses out. It's not X-ray vision, it's not telepathy, he can't read minds, but he could literally send his senses out, almost like an astral form. So wherever he's concentrating on, he could see, hear, feel, and touch there. So when he goes and checks on the baby in the crib, he could hear the baby cooing. He could touch the baby. He could feel the baby. He could, smell the baby. But the baby can't do anything. And that's so sometimes his wife will just talk to him, just assuming that he could hear things like that. But literally, his senses are over there. So he's blind, deaf, and dumb where he is. So it leaves him vulnerable. So he doesn't do it in the midst of a fight. He doesn't do it while he's flying through the city. So he'll fly up really high and levitate, or he'll go on the ground someplace, and use his senses. So those are his powers. How much can he lift? Normally, without straining himself, 27,000 pounds. He could telekinetically lift. And for the most part, he mimics super strength because of Captain Atlas. Now, the thing is, if he's lifting a 5,000 pound barbell, now he could only lift 22,000 pounds. You know what I mean? He could lift a total of 27,000 pounds. So when you're firing bullets at him, he's still deflecting them. He can't throw a punch because his shield is using his telekinetic capacity, things like that. He could, carry other people. He could do everything like Jean Grey could do, except, normal Marvel girl Jean, not Phoenix. But he uses it to simulate physical acts, even though, he is physically strong. He's been working out constantly for 25 years, eating healthy and things like that, but getting into superhero action. But that's really all I'm willing to talk about as far as his physical attributes, his powers, because I don't want to spoil any of the story. So if anybody has a question that I didn't explain, feel free to ask. So let's see. Fair enough. I'm curious if you build the pro and cons for the powers of each superpowered character that you build. Yes. Patriarch is not invulnerable. You could sneak up to him and punch him and knock him out. He needs to physically concentrate in order to deflect. So he could put up a telekinetic defense, but if you don't know it's coming, or if you're shooting machine guns, there's a good chance bullets could slip through, or very ricochet, things like that, because he could deflect them. So I'd like to think that he's appropriately, has a good weakness. If he uses his senses, he's vulnerable in the extreme right then and there. You could just walk up to him and slit his throat. I hope you have a blessed day. I had a very good day. Hey, I like when people say hello to each other. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Listening. I'm tired from driving. Oh, man, I at the risk of sounding, like driving long distances still kind of freaks me out. There's only so much one can learn from demonstration and drills. Actual sparring is often required. Absolutely. And the problem with Captain Atlas, well, you know what? I'm going to bring up Captain Atlas. So do I have Captain Atlas? Yes. So I'll bring up Captain Atlas since we're talking about him. Okay. I'll bring up Captain Atlas. Collect his cards. Where is it? Come on. Is this the card? Nope, that's the back. You don't need to see the back yet. I don't want you to know his secrets yet. Where's the front? Okay, I think that's the front. Okay. People are messaging me. Of course, people are messaging me. Oh, I didn't realize that the screen was still there. So you saw a lot of stuff. So that's Captain Atlas. Public knowledge about Captain Atlas. His name is Captain Charles Nelson. He's another one who got his powers in public, so people know his identity. He was a Korean War veteran, and a meteor crashed through his fighter jet. The meteor didn't go through it; it actually impaled itself, crashed, and when he hit the ground, he was like, "Why am I not burning? Why am I not dead?" And he, so he got his powers literally like he was 35 years old, and so he got his powers late in life for a super being, and he just got every year he just gets stronger and stronger. He still gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So he's invincible. Only the one time did he actually feel pain and bleed was when he fought Worldbreaker. Other than that, he could lift tents, and his coolest power, he could fly. He could fly through space for for short times. He still needs to breathe. He's not that independent from atmosphere. He could hold his breath for a long time, but he still needs to breathe. Bullets bounce off his chest, everything like that. He doesn't have super speed. He could fly very fast, but his reaction speeds are just, better than the average person, better than an Olympic athlete, but he's not like the Flash or anything like that. So he's Superman level strength, but everything else, no. He's not super reaction speed, things like that. What else is there to say? He literally gets strong. Oh, he has what he calls the intrinsic field. So in order to mimic Superman, I gave him the ability that he has like a force field, like the John Byrne concept of Superman's power. So if he grabs a car, if he wants to, he can extend his psionic field around the entire car and then lift the car. He could literally lift the car like this from like the windshield wiper. Anything that he puts within that intrinsic field is literally part of him. It's, so like it's not going to break. He could lift an airplane by the he could take a prop plane by the prop and pick up the plane, and it's not going to break because the intrinsic field makes it all one big thing. So he could grab that building behind him. He could grab the cornerstone or any stone and just lift the entire building. People are and people in the building are safe too because they're protected by the intrinsic field. So that's his power. That's Captain Atlas. Anybody want? I'm going to go through the chat here to catch a vibe for a second before heading to the gym. There you go. Go to that gym. Loved drawing Grimoria. Oh yes, from Hero Dark. Hey, Oscar's here. How you doing, Oscar? Oscar and I were just talking. Prater 7 says, "What's up?" But Atlas can't grow hair. Yes, he had male pattern baldness before he even got the superpowers. Okay, Captain Atlas is also psionic Superman too. Yeah. Full disclosure, all superpowers are psionic in my world. Even if you turn into iron, it's psionic. Like your body, your mind transforms your body, things like that. Because all superpowers are formed from a link to another dimension. And this link, so you have like a bridge, what do they call that? A Rosencrantz-Guildenstern bridge. So you have a wormhole literally in the center of your brain, and you're pulling power. How do you lift all of this stuff? Your muscles aren't that strong to lift a tank. Well, you're pulling power from this other dimension. How do you shoot fire out of your mouth? You're pulling power from this other dimension, and it's filtered through your brain. Your brain focuses it into basically what you think you should have. Your power is kind of like expressed through your personality. So you could kind of tell what kind of guy Captain Nelson was before he became Captain Atlas. You could kind of tell what kind of guy Jim Kelly was before he became the Patriarch. He was a protector. You know what I mean? Patriarch really has protection-based powers. Captain Atlas has macho-based powers. So, so you'll see a little bit of but the thing is, when I said the Patriarch could normally lift 27,000 pounds, normally, you could pull more power. But as you're pulling more power, you're literally giving yourself brain damage. You could cause damage in your brain. That's called the metapsychosis. So just keep that in mind. So one of the things is your eyes literally start to glow because you're overloading with power. You'll see that you already saw that in the first issue. You'll see some more of it in the second issue. Interesting. There you go. Good. He got his powers from his medication, but his archenemy is the housemaid Matilda. What are you talking about? My characters or you goofing? Another benefit is that the powers match the personality. Yes. So when you see a flame-based superhero, he's kind of bombastic, If you see it like an invisible character, they'd probably be shy and reserved. Explains Commander Riri. I have no idea. Oh, he drew too much power. Just goofing. Okay, I was going to say I don't know who they're talking about, but that's Captain Atlas. He obviously will be in Patriarch number 1 because I talk about the origin of the Patriarch. Now let's actually turn that screen off. Go to the next character. Who is so? I will go back to the first issue because I have the files of all the characters separated by issues. So promotional items, collector's cards. So let's see. Okay, we'll talk about. Well, I just I can't. I'm so bad at myself. I just closed the Google Drive. So now I got to reopen it. Okay. Come on. Okay. What is going on? Collector's cards. Okay, there we go. All right. Glad you guys didn't see me messing around. So this is Lucius Kane. Lucius Kane is the Suit. He was the main character of the secondary story, but this is him all grown up, because the first story was set in 1999, and that was the past. That was his origin. In issue 2, it's 2025, and that's what he looks like in 2025. He's all grown up now, so it's 25 years later, and he always wears that suit. That's why people call him the Suit. So one of his weaknesses is if not that he does take off the suit to take a shower, but he doesn't need to. The suit is self-cleaning. It keeps him clean. Like, there's no reason for him to take off the suit other than maybe he'll want to take off the suit. But the suit doesn't transform. It always stays like this suit. And the suit provides him with food, energy, rest. It heals him. So he literally has no reason. It's a magic suit. I know it's kind of a goofy concept, but here is the great thing about the suit. Whatever he requires is in its pocket. So you saw in issue 1, he wasn't doing too good on that job interview, and he reached into his pocket just out of whatever, just fiddling around, and he finds a Polaroid of damning evidence of the mayor who he was interviewing with, and he uses that damning evidence. Now, he could have done the hero thing and turned in the mayor. Instead, he used that Polaroid to blackmail the mayor. He made that choice right then and there to choose evil. He could have chose good, but he chose evil. That was when he sold his soul to the devil. And you saw that it was inspected by 666. So that's Lucius Kane. He is the mayor of Science City, and he sold his soul to the devil. The suit has one more power that I'm not going to explain right now. And it is, sorry I'm late. Did you miss my bad jokes? I always miss you, old dirty fatty. I always miss you. Is the suit a symbiote? Okay, that's interesting. I never thought of that, Oscar. That's why I like talking to Oscar. He makes me think of things. It's not a symbiote in the sense of Venom. Like, the suit doesn't need to live. Like, I imagine Venom's suit. I don't know. Now I just realized I don't know this. I don't know this much about Venom. But does Venom's suit, does it need a host to survive? Like, if somebody wasn't wearing the Venom symbiote, would it die? Because the suit could hang up. It's literally a suit possessed by Satan's magic. It's not actually Satan, it's another demon, but I'm not spoiling that. So it's a magic item suit. So remember I said there's 3 ways to get powers in my world? One of them is to have this wormhole enter into your brain. Another one is magic, and another one is basically like super science, rewiring your genes and things like that. So the Patriarch and Lucius Kane, they can't pass on their powers to their children because their genes are normal, much to the Patriarch's children's dismay. The Patriarch has 7 children. I might as well tell you, the Patriarch has 7 children. His oldest is Paul, then Courtney, then twins Abigail and Althea, then twin boys Seamus and Ionis, and then the baby is Gertrude. Okay, there's more family stuff, but that's spoilerific, and I'm not going to spoil that. So, okay. So it's not a symbiote in the fact that the suit is not going to die. The suit doesn't need to be worn. It's basically Satan made this suit and lured and again, it's not Satan, it's somebody else, but I'm not going to spoil it. But we'll just say the devil. The devil made the suit and lured Lucius Kane there. He set it up. He instigated the cat to shred. You know what I mean? But didn't tamper with his free will. He could have chosen to do good, and then the suit would have just been an ordinary suit after that. But I have a story coming up where Lucius Kane finds something really nasty in his pocket. You think the Polaroid was upsetting? Wait till you see what he finds next. I love this character. Full disclosure, my friend Jimmy, the same person who role played as the metaphysician, he came up with the concept of the suit, and I said, no, that's a terrible idea. And then we thought about it, and he made up Lucius Kane, and I made up the suit. Jimmy didn't know anything about the suit, the actual cloth, the suit, and he figured out the power. And then we realized it's not a good character to role play. He makes a better NPC protagonist than antagonist. So there we go. That's the suit. So Oscar, it's not a symbiote. Like a symbiote, you both benefit. The suit doesn't care. The suit doesn't even have an intelligence. The suit basically reacts to the will of the wearer. It's a magic item. It's like no different than a magic sword, or you know what I mean, or a magic helmet or anything. What does he do on casual Fridays? He wears the suit. He wears the suit. His wife may want him to change out of it. But that's another thing, is the suit also increases his natural charisma. You know, like if the suit increases his natural charisma. I sold my soul. I got a rock. Oh, that's terrible. Yep. 5 more days on Kickstarter. He looks like Blackula. Oh, don't say that. Or what's his name? Jefferson from Venture Brothers will come and kill him. He is not undead. He is not a zombie or anything like that. I had a New York phone number with the 666 exchange. Oh, that's creepy. A host gives venom form, and venom amplifies the host abilities and aggression. Yeah, but does the symbiote get something from its host? Otherwise, it's not a symbiote, right? Symbiote means they both have something. 2 sets of twins, poor mom. And twins come from his mother's side of the family. Hell, how you doing? Apex. Spear magic helmet. It's funny that you said that, because now I will talk about a spear and magic helmet. Heroic Tales 2. This is a card that I had ready, but we didn't hit the stretch goal. So I mean, I made 7 cards, but they're ready for future issues. So if we get far enough, I will release this card. But since you said Spear and Magic Helmet, we will talk about Shield Maiden. Okay, so this is Shield Maiden. Shield Maiden literally has a spear and magic helmet. She was a student of Norse mythology, and she found the spear and magic helmet. And she is romantically linked to the Midgardian, who I didn't make a card for or a picture of, but they are like a Norse super team. And she is one of the greatest. She's like Wonder Woman. She's physically strong. She can't fly. She's a powerhouse. She's super aggressive. She wants to kill, but is being held in check by the personalities of the other superhero teams. You know, she is suffering from she's showing signs of suffering from the metapsychosis. She is starting to believe that she is a Valkyrie, that she is from Asgard. And she has a shield, a spear, and a helmet. She could summon the lightning with the helmet and then focus the lightning with the spear. So she summons lightning, and she'll project it through her spear. And then when she holds up her shield, she can make a force field. So she can make force fields, lightning, and super strong. So she's got a shield and spear and magic helmet. Fair enough. Since you made Lucius Kane the suit a villain and the suit something that the devil made, Lucius has the potential for being a major villain for long box comics. Yes, he is a villain. Yes, he is. Right now, he's not. The first issue, you saw Dr. Robug, who's a minor villain, and the suit. But the suit is he's Lex Luthor to Patriarch Superman. He's a bad guy, and he's got one more power that the suit gives him, but I don't want to spoil it because I don't even think at this point Lucius Kane knows he has this power, or he would have used it. Too late, John. I said it. What did you say? What did you say? Oh, Spirit Magic Helmet. Oh, Zactan's got to go. Have a blessed day. Shield Maiden. I like her too. I like her. She is just nice. She's for everybody likes Shield Maiden. She has a cameo in issue number 2. She rubs her spear vigorously, causing light to shoot from it. I have to admit, it's just a great character design. Thank you. She is just freaking cool. And then Renzo he just is so good. And look at that colors by Oscar. So good. You mean superior to, Shield Maiden and the Midgardian. Yes, the Midgardian is my Thor. The Midgardian. He's the guardian of Midgard. The Midgardian. She drools sometimes. No, men drool when they see her. Men drool. I don't have a card for the Midgardian yet. John, bring Shield Maiden as a cosplay crowd to bring customers to your convention table whenever you display at the next con. That's a good idea. I don't think you don't mean me, right? I'm not going to dress as the Shield Maiden. Let's see what's another character to show. Let's see. I'll go back to the first issue because I made 7 cards and I'm blanking on the characters that I made. Oh yeah, okay. Collector's cards. Oh, that's issue 2. Why can't I go to issue 1? Issue 1. Okay. Promotional items. Collector's cards. Okay, the Patriarch. Okay, so we'll talk about Boss Moxie next. So there is Boss Moxie. When is Shield Maiden number 1 coming out? Never say no, never say no. Poinsettia. I should talk about Poinsettia, but I don't want to. The whole Poinsettia in the public eye, the story is, I love a mystery. It's supposed to be a mystery, but I'll show it. So this is Boss Moxie. His real name is Jerry Dugan, and he was a foreman for a construction company. And literally one day he just woke up, started talking with like a 30s gangster, and started robbing banks. Just blatantly robbing banks, inspired by what's his name, Babyface Nelson, and and all those other just Al Capone and things like that. Just went and got an old-fashioned Tommy gun and started robbing banks. And he started to get a following. He's very charismatic, and because of that, he got the showgirls, and he wanted the girls to dress up as ostentatiously as possible. It's kind of smart in a way. Nobody's looking at him; they're all looking at the hot showgirls. And he has no powers other than he's charismatic. He's not even particularly intelligent. I mean, he's not like super intelligent. He's not stupid or anything like that. But the thing is, he just went crazy. And the thing is, it's happening a lot in Science City. People are just waking up crazy. There's something wrong with Science City. There's something wrong with the city itself. And that's Boss Moxie. See here, kid. This character. Okay, this is Gams. Oh, I'm not showing it to you. This is Gams. So Boss Moxie actually has 4 henchwomen. You only saw 3. He's got Mal, Gams, Dame, and Toots. We didn't see Toots yet. But this is Gams. And Gams means legs. So she is actually a Russian dancer. And out of all the girls, she didn't want to be a criminal. She just got like, she was a ballerina, Russian ballerina. No, she's not the ballerina. You know, this comic came out way before the movie. But poor girl just wanted to dance. But she got basically Molly Cusack, the redhead. Basically, it was just like, you know, I know a way for you to make some money. And she just showed off her legs, but she wants out. But the thing is, she's too indebted to Boss Moxie's gang. So I actually feel bad for her. Out of all of my villains, she's the most sympathetic. She's the most sympathetic. She just wants to dance, and she got caught up in stuff that she shouldn't get caught up in. Since Logic finds, I'll say Sydney Sweeney should play Shield Maiden. Okay. I'll show you. Okay. Keep that thought. How about Homestead? He has the powers to make his grandkids visit. We need to crowdfund for Sydney Sweeney's beard as free as a Shield Maiden. There we go. There we go. Interesting. Well, Boss Moxie and arch nemesis for 20 years will be a shared villain for every hero. He's kind of like I'll put him on the equivalent of like Fancy Dan, you know, Spider-Man and Marcus. You remember the team like Fancy Dan, Man Mountain, Marco, and all those guys. Like he was purposely a lame villain. He's not supposed to be a major villain. Although I do have a second story for Boss Moxie. Okay, so I'm going to turn off that before bringing up the next one. This is. Oh, I don't want to talk about her yet, so we'll talk about. Okay. This is Dame. She was just a troubled youth, in and out of homes, orphanages, just one of those people that was just like born under a bad star and just never had a chance. You know, poor black girl, mother died of drugs, father wasn't part of the picture. Just one of those kind of things. And just a life of crime, got into street crime and everything like that. And she was just the easiest to recruit for Boss Moxie girls. You know, she liked the lifestyle. She was good looking, and she has no problems with violence and everything. You know, I mean, I don't want to say she's irredeemable, but she's bad. You know, does Gams have powers to do with her legs? Well, she was a ballerina. That's why she was called. You know, and Dame, you know, she thinks like, you know, she's all that. You know what I mean? She's the Dame. You know, like Dame Edna and stuff. She goes by, you know, she's just a dame, but she's thinking of it as like the female sir, like a knight. You know, she's a dame, so she thinks she's royalty. She's trouble. She's trouble. But this one is okay. This is Moll. That's Molly Cusack. She's Irish, born in Ireland, and she is an absolute psychopath. She is the most dangerous of the girls. She is a killer, irredeemable, terrifying. And she plays along with Boss Moxie, but now the Boss Moxie they're all in jail. And of course, she's like, oh, I'm just a girl. I'm scared. You know, she is the one to watch out for. I have a story where she's going to get elevated to a main villain. I just fell in love with this character. I don't know. Once I came up with the name Molly Cusack, that's too good of a name not to use. So, there's a lot of comments. I'm sorry. Herrenberg says, hey, John, looking forward to when you do a Shield Maiden solo. She has a secret identity and can't transform. You should bring a cosplayer to cons who could play. I would love to. I don't know if my wife would let me hang around with a girl that could pull off a Shield Maiden outfit. Hey, John, even Timo. The Enforcers. Can everybody see me? My screen just went blank for a second. Everybody says hello to Herrenberg. Yes, chat. John's long box is unburied treasure with Shield Maiden. Okay. Okay, I got to include shielding. Texas is hot. Interesting, since you're going to make Molly Vane, which hero will be her arch nemesis? The Patriarch. She was flirting with the Patriarch. You know, plus, Patriarch is the main hero of Science City. So yeah, she will be. Spoiler alert: she comes back as a main villain. She gets a new name, a new costume, and she's trouble. So let's see, who else? Oh, there's only one more character from issue 1. We'll talk about Dr. Robard, but so he was a nerd. He was a goofball. He wasn't, he's the opposite of the Patriarch. He's shy, can't talk to women. He's literally a midget, and he's, just like he harbors a resentment towards women because, and then he sees guys like the Patriarch, and nobody knows the Patriarch's married and has a family. He keeps that secret. Okay. I'm not going to tell why. That'll be part of issue number 2. So, and that's putting a strain on the Patriarch's family because they're like, what are we, what are prisoners here? So Patriarch doesn't, nobody knows he doesn't have a wedding ring or anything like that. So when he's flying around, all the women are like literally like flirting with him. And, there's newspapers. He's Science City's most eligible bachelor, Jim Kelly, the Patriarch, and things like that. So he's just like, this guy, he's just jealous. And what was he doing in issue number 1? He was capturing a girl. He's not a good guy. I'm going to leave it to your imagination. He is, he's the equivalent of like a Spider-Man villain, let's say like Rocket Racer, or he's a goofy, but he's a genius. He does have superpowers. He has super intelligence. His weakness is basically lowered charisma, social anxiety, things like that. And he has oversized hobbit feet with fur on them because I just think it's funny. But he could literally pick up vibrations through his feet. So he could sense where people are. So it's almost like he has Daredevil radar sense, but he uses his feet. He picks up vibrations. And he's obsessed with robots and insects. So he was supposed to be a goofy but yet scary character. Good. Patriarch's got to protect his family. If you don't, yes. This is my friend Paul. He is Magnum. That's his. We play role playing games. Magnum is his character. He has stinky bare feet. He does. He absolutely does. So since Paul's here, I might as well talk about Magnum because I finished all 7. I only made 7 cards for issue number 1 because I didn't know how far it was good. I actually made 20 cards for issue number 2, but I'm only going to release a set of 7 for purchase, later on. Right now, you're going to get 3 for free, and if you want the extras, they're $2 each. But when issue 3 comes out, I'll sell the set of 7 cards for $10, $2 each, and I got cards for next couple of issues because I made 20 cards for issue number 1. So this is Magnum. So I might as well talk about Magnum since Paul, the player character. Don't tell me it's not loading. This is driving me absolutely berserkowitz. Okay, it finally loaded. My computer's been dying for like a year. So this is Magnum. Magnum is a hero. He Clarence Darber, and he's 7 feet tall. He's huge. He's probably the second strongest next to Captain Atlas. And on top of that strength and durability, he's not invulnerable, but when you could lift 60 tons, 70 tons, you're not bulletproof, but you might as well be. He also has magnetic abilities. So you see, he keeps these iron spheres on a bandolier, and he could use his magnetic powers to smash through things, and he literally lifts them up and uses his magnetic powers to fly. So he's super strong, durable, and 7 feet tall, and magnetic powers. Magnum. I think that's a perfect name for this guy. And my friend Paul, this is Paul. This is his character. So when we play our role-playing games, he made up Magnum. And they formed a team, the Meta League. So he's one of the founding members of the Meta League. He's and Colonel Strong have been superheroes longer than the Patriarch. So they are some of the longest running active superhero that I'm going to talk about is Captain Atlas, then Colonel Strong and Magnum, and then the Patriarch. And they seem to be mentally stable. Although Magnum is a punch first, ask questions later, Colonel Strong is a Captain America kind of guy. So there you go. Card set, what a great idea. We made a 20 card set. We give it away free if someone buys all 4 issues in a pack. That's a good idea. Good idea. Something to think about. Captain Atlas. Yes, Shield Maiden needs her own title. What's the brute name? Magnum. Magnum, like large. Magnum. There you go. He wears medals so he could fly by living. I didn't think of it. A magnetic powered hero and should therefore be able to fly. Yeah. He has this bandolier. These are like steel, like pool ball size steel spheres. So he could literally, like, he could just take control of them and fire them off his bandolier. Boom. And he could lift like 200 tons with his magnetic abilities. He's vastly powerful. And so, boom, they could just like almost break the sound barrier. Boom, just imagine getting hit with that. And then he could just lift them up and fly. And even when all the spheres are gone, it's still metal straps so that he could fly using his magnetic power. He also has developed a magnetic sense. So he could use his magnetic powers to like sense magnetic fields, and through that he could detect like the iron in other people's blood. So is this this is the only LBC. Paul's like that. He was going to name him the Rainbow Boy, but we changed. So he could use negative and positive magnetic fields. Yes, he can. Okay, you want to see Colonel Strong? Okay, let's talk about Colonel Strong next. So let's talk about Colonel Strong. Where is Colonel Strong? Where is Captain Atlas? Stone, the Go-Getter. Where is... If this is him, I spelt it wrong. Okay, so this is Colonel Strong. So Colonel Strong, I'll make it smaller so we can see the whole body. This is my friend Mike. My friend Mike made this character up. He was originally Major Marshall Strong, but he got promoted to Colonel Marshall Strong. His first name was Marshall. And he is Captain America and Nick Fury combined. So he is the patriotic superhero. And he has a incredible will. So he is immune to mental attacks. He can't be mind controlled. He can't be mentally influenced. You can't even use telepathy against him unless he allows it. He just has an iron will. He also has super endurance. And he is proficient with every known. He just has the ability to know all martial arts and armed and unarmed combat. So he's just, the greatest with like guns, knives, swords, and everything like that. So he's just the ultimate fighter. He also has leadership skills and charisma, like super charisma. All the stats are on the back of the card. He was an army psychologist, and he came up to the Pentagon came up with it to build the perfect profile for superpowered beings. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to spoil it. But he was in charge of Project Red Cape. The government tried making their own superheroes, and they needed a profile made. And after the profile was made, they realized that Colonel Strong, fit the profile better than anybody else. And that was Project Red Cape. But that's all I'm gonna talk about him. Ha! Is there Lieutenant Weak? That's funny. That's really funny. Lieutenant Puny. Colonel Strong, cool costume design. My friend Mike designed that costume. I got to give credit where credit is due. Mike did everything about Colonel Strong. And believe it or not, there's 2 issues of a Colonel Strong comic, or Marshall Strong comic. Mike started making this comic based on our adventures years ago. Like, I'm not even joking, like 10, 15 years ago. Then he got married, then he had kids, and then just coincidentally, we both made our comics at the same time. I wish I had known. They're being published by Thunderzone, by Dan Sen's Comics. He's got 6 issues. Now, I have to say that when he publishes all 6 issues, I'm going to fold the Marshall Strong comics. We're going to republish them under Longbox Comics, and I'm going to go through and clean up the continuity so that it matches what's already established. And he's going to make a joke because Marshall Strong appears in a couple of Dan Sen's comics. And then I'm going to joke with him and be like, yeah, well, I'm a public figure. I can't help where my image appears in bootleg comics. But, so it's not like I share a universe with anybody. It's, if you see Marshall Strong outside of a Longbox comic, those are, unauthorized appearances is what he will say. That's how I'm going to explain it. Yeah, so he's my patriotic, and I actually made a replacement character because when I saw that he was in Thunderzone Comics, I was like, I don't know if I could use this character anymore. And Mike's like, yeah, of course you can. I own the character. So, there's his story. Colonel seems a little powerful. He's on par with Captain America. Is Captain America too powerful? He's Captain America, but immune to all mental attacks. Does he have a weakness? Yeah, shot in the face. That's where he wears bulletproof vest. You could stab him, you could shoot him. He doesn't heal. You know what I mean? He's Captain America. Let's see. Different than Alan Moore's Tom Strong. Yeah, Tom Strong is Doc Savage. He is Captain America. My kind of character. I knew you would like him, Coop. I knew you'd like him. We got to make a Colonel Ironside's Colonel Strong comic. The Colonels. The Colonels. Every Colonel pops. Lieutenant Wuss. There you go. Private Wuss. Private Wussy. Private Wimpy. Cool customs. Interesting to know his weaknesses as well. His weaknesses is that he's vulnerable to everything. He's not super strong. He's not super agile. What weaknesses does Captain America or Batman have? He's human. He can be poisoned. He can be killed. He can be shot. He ages. Are those 1911s? I think so. I think Renzo put them in. I know Dan Sen, Argo Comics. Yes. He's been making comics for 22 years. So I got time for one more character. Who do I want to show next? I will show, I think everybody likes this character. If it loads, there we go. That's Starlet. That's who I want Cindy Sweeney to play. Okay. We could get Gina Carano to play Shield Maiden, and we could get Cindy Sweeney to play Starlet. So Starlet is my response to Carol Danvers. Okay, Carol. So she is the hot, sexy super. She was a movie star and an Instagram influencer, and now she has powers. So she wants to be movie. And what powers does she has? She is quantum linked to a star. So she could do whatever a star could do: heat, light, magnetic projections, radiation, even manipulate gravity. So she can fly. Things like that. She is vastly powerful. What weakness does she have? Well, right now she could, if she's not on fire or throwing up a magnet, she could be killed. She can only lift like 150 pounds, things like that. She's not super strong. She's not invulnerable. what else can I say? She's kind of vain. She acts flighty, but she's that's part of her act. She's actually pretty smart, and she also has cosmic awareness, so she's in tune with the cosmos, which kind of like plays up her plate because she's paying attention to things on other planets, you know, and she kind of plays it up as like astrology and stuff like that, like, but she knows some secrets of the universe, and she could fly in space. She's independent from atmosphere, so you know, she doesn't need to wear clothes. She can walk around in the desert. She can walk around in the Arctic, but you know, social mores. She wears clothes. So that's Starlet. I just love that name. I just love that name. Fair enough. I was curious if you've made superheroine who's a mother. Stay tuned. Can't make any spoilers. Carol Danvers as Warbird with George Perez. Yep. I like Carol Danvers. Yeah, I did like Warbird. Our Carol Danvers is also star powered, also Stellara 2000, but she's a military girl, not a movie star. Nice character. Thank you. Star Slut doesn't have the same ring. No, she's you know, it's like Tony Stark or Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? Like, she's actually, like I said, she's connected to the cosmos, and she's also media savvy. She handles like all the PR of the Metal League. You know, I really like this character. I'm just gonna catch up with these last two comments, and then I'm gonna go over on Yang. I can never say his name's his channel, and we're gonna talk. How about the Deadly Road Rage? He gets beyond drivers and compresses toxic horns, which causes others. Oh wow, that's a pretty cool idea, actually. There are only 2 planets I'd pay attention to her. Good job on Warbird. Hey, Jim O'Reilly's here. Jim O'Reilly, Jim, if you're still ever interested in drawing a story for me, that story's on the back burner. I was kind of waiting for you. But I got to go. I'm going to be on another channel, so I'm going to end this now, and we'll do this again. I got a million more characters to talk about. And think up questions for these characters if you want. Oh, thank you. I'm like I said, you come up with the cool name, and you come up with the cool character. Bye-bye.